Welcome to Your Money Guides, brought to you by Interface Financial Planning.
Today, I'm going to talk about the value of listening. Alan often talks about his values, and that's because to him, they're enormously important. Everyone has values. If you don't know what yours are, why not create your list? Once you're in the flow, you'll find you continue to add things to it. One very important value to Alan is listening, and he'll tell you why a little later. But first, a small story. For more on Alan's values, see his The Importance of Values blog on his website. Did you know Alan Morris dances? He started Morris dancing back in 1975 and did it religiously. It was a real passion of his. However, a few years ago, the team that he was dancing with packed up and stopped dancing, mainly because a lot of the dancers were getting older. Alan was one of the youngest, so he stopped. Then he acquired a new client last autumn, an ex-squire of the Morris Ring of England. He inspired Alan to take up Morris dancing again, so he did. Last Friday was the third energetic session. Alan might not leap as high as he used to, but he's managing okay. The dance sessions last for 2 hours, and then afterwards there's an opportunity to socialise. So, on Friday, Alan went to the pub after the dancing session. It was a real novelty because, like so many people, he hadn't been to a pub for over a year. It struck Alan that we've all been living in our own bubbles for 12 months or so. Alan had a really fantastic time at the pub. It was great for him to get out and about and talk to people with different perspectives on life and different values too. It made for some interesting conversation. One of Alan's Morris dancing peers said to him that he couldn't be much of a financial advisor if he was still working at the age of 72. He continued by saying that he hated what he'd done for a living. He'd made his million and got out of it as soon as he could. Of course, that got Alan thinking. Yes, he could have stopped working years ago, but unlike the other man, he loves what he does. He loves doing his best for people and helping them, and he's recognised for that. He doesn't see what he does as work, he sees it as a vocation. The conversation didn't go much further because the man in question didn't stay to listen to Alan's take. Next, Alan got into conversation with another man. He was around 40 years old and Alan knew his father, a retired vicar. They had a good half an hour's natter. Alan asked how his father was. At the age of 80, he's now no longer working fully, but he still conducts regular sermons. The man told me that his father loved delivering his sermons because it was a joy to him. Alan knows that feeling. He also told Alan that his congregants called his father the Red Vicar due to his socialist views. In fact, he cited a passage from the Bible about when moneylenders were cast out of the temple so it was fair and equal for all. The Red Vicar preaches from the pulpit about fairness for all, even though the Church of England could be called conservative, with a small c. Alan thought that there were some similarities to him there. He's happy to stick his neck out and say when he thinks something's wrong. He wants people to have honest, good financial advice, to improve their lives, and it's not just a business for him to make loads of money. Alan might be earning a living, but that's not the key purpose, despite what others might think. As it so happens, 6 weeks ago, Alan had an offer of £960,000 for his business. Just like the other Morris dancer, he could have packed up his £1,000,000 and got out, but he loves what he does. He's not about to flog his clients to the highest bidder, because he has a different set of values to that man. When Alan's socialising, he has a rule. He doesn't want to be the bore who talks about work. He often gets people approaching him about their finances when he switched off from work. Another guy asked him about his pension last Friday at the pub, but Alan told him to call him on Monday instead. He just doesn't like mixing work with pleasure, and he'd forgotten how much he needed that social interaction. It was a real release, and Alan's learnt, through listening of course, that people come to you far more easily than if you push yourself on them, because they've been listening too. The bottom line is the getting out reminded Alan that it's time to break away from our bubbles now and talk to people, but more importantly, listen. Over the years, he's learnt so much just from listening. Someone once said, "You've got 2 ideas and 1 mouth. Use them in that proportion and learn by listening before talking. Listening leads to learning." Anyway, as well as listening, achy ears, Alan also had aching legs on Saturday morning after his Morris dancing leaps and jumps, but it did him the world of good, physically and mentally. This week, Alan's encouraging all of you to make a mental note to listen more, digest and note what you learn from the art of conversation. Thank you for listening.
For more information, visit our website at interfacefinancialplanning.co.uk.